Conscious Endeavors 71. Talking more about awakening. What happens when you awaken? When you awaken, you lift the veil from what the reality was, from what you know. Okay? It's out with the old, in with the new. It's a new perception of reality. That's what the awakening is. The awakening is the lifting of the veil. The ancient word apocalypto, supposed to be derived from the Greek language, and apocalypse actually doesn't mean the end or destruction or the end of the world or end times. That's a misconception. Apocalypse actually means lifting of the veil, where everyone is going to start to see the truth. Well, the lifting of the veil already began in the year 2020. And my God, doesn't he have a sense of humor? 2020 vision. 2020, the year that everyone started to see the truth. Isn't that interesting? God has a sense of humor. When you have your awakening, you start to see reality from a different perception than what you once knew. You start to see through all of the bullshit. Okay? You start to see through the deceit. You start to see through the lies and all of the garbage. You start to ask yourself, we work so hard. Why is it that we don't seem to ever get ahead? Well, that's because you're being perfectly deceived. And you're being perfectly indoctrinated and brainwashed into a false, corrupt, criminal system. And that system is not designed to make you happy or prosperous. The system is designed to make you become the energy maker. So you're being used for your energy, not just your spiritual energy, but your financial energy. And you were brainwashed into thinking that buying a 30-year mortgage is a good thing. No. The banks needed to create a product to sell. Cardone says, why not call it the American dream? The banks need a reason to lend out money. Why not lend out 30-year loans and let's call it the American dream? Maybe it's an American dream for the bankers, but not for the people who are purchasing the homes. Anyway, long story short, you have several awakenings in your lifetime. You start to wake up to realities that you've never seen before, you've never understood, you've never noticed before. You start to wake up and realize you're just being used for your energy, your brains, your muscles, and you're a human slave. Once you start to realize that you're a human slave, you're going to do everything to go against the system that you can. Just like everyone is doing right now. You're starting to see people farm on their own land. You're starting to see a lot of people wake up. They're not paying these extravagant prices for living situations anymore. A lot of people are living off of the land. A lot of people are moving off grid. The smartest thing that you could do, when I listened to a documentary and interview on an ex-CIA agent, an ex-undercover spy, best thing you could do and the safest place you could be is in the Yukon forest, living off grid. What a retired special agent actually said. The safest place you could be is off grid in the Yukon or the Ozark. So that's going to tell you something. A lot of people know the deception, the deceit. A lot of people know the control factor. A lot of people know about the matrix and the grid system that we all live in that keep you a slave. Not only are we slaves to the system, to the false, corrupt system that was created, but we're also slaves to our attachments. So if you love something a little too much, whether it be alcohol, drugs, smoking, marijuana, cigarettes, and or anything above that, etc., you're going to be a slave to your attachments, okay? Like me, I'm used to being a slave to smoking. Got rid of everything else, but still I like to smoke. I like my smoke. So, if you're not a slave to the system, you're a slave to your attachments. I realized the only time I could actually save money is when I quit eating food and when I quit smoking. When I got rid of my attachments and when I quit eating food. That was the only time I could put $200 to $300 a week away. That was it. It was the only time I could do it, is when I quit eating food and when I stopped, and when I quit my attachments. When you have the awakening, you start to realize the things that don't serve you any longer. That's why a lot of things fall out of your life. Your relationships fall apart. Your loved ones, friends, best friends, and or personal close relationships, significant others, partnerships, falls apart. It all falls out of your life. No, it's not due to bad habits. No, it's not because I'm an asshole. No, it's not because of anything that I did wrong. But has everything to do with the universe has a way of making things in your life fall away in order for the proper things to come together. Does that make sense? The universe has a way of taking things out of your life so you can see the truth, so you can see that those things are not for you, so you can see that those things don't matter. See, we're constantly playing a game of give and take with the universe. We take the things that we think are for us, and then we give things away when we can afford them, when we want to help other people. We give and take, we donate, and we take. I like to help people in need if I can help them. You take what you can, but you can't stay attached to anything in your incarnation, because if you stay attached to anything, you're going to realize what it's like to lose it. And you will lose everything in your lifetime. Everything is impermanent. This is what the Buddhists teach. When you follow and pay attention to the yogis and the gurus, they teach you that life is impermanence. If life is impermanent, that means that life is always changing and it never stays the same. Okay? This is what I study in my meditation course and in my studies. Life is impermanent. Everything is always changing. Nothing stays the same. So, if you're the type of person you don't like when things change, if you're not a person of change, you're going to live a very stressful life, because life is impermanent. Life is always changing. When you have your awakening, you realize this as well. Life is impermanent. And then what happens is you have like a lighter grasp on things in life. You don't want to grab things too hard. You don't want to grab hold too hard and not let go, because you know that these things are going to fall out of your existence regardless. Conscious endeavors.